I want to talk to you for a moment about embracing our past and embracing our scars. See, a lot of us, we tend to, when we get hurt, we hide our pain, we hide our hurt, we hide our scars from people. But I've learned that the best way to actually connect with people is not the things that you've done right, but it's in the things that you've not done so right in. It's not in the times where your life was perfect. It's in the times where you've gained scars and you've gained a different insight. And I think when we neglect our past and we neglect the pain that we went through and we neglect the scars, we try to hide the scars that we've obtained over the years, I think we're actually preventing people from experiencing a breakthrough, miracle, and blessing in their life. Well, why do I say that? I think the prime example that we can look at is Jesus. Jesus, he, after he resurrected, we know he appeared to Thomas and all the other disciples. And he said, Thomas said, unless I see the nail marks in his hands and put my fingers where the nails were and put my hand into his side, I will not believe. A week later, his disciples were in the house again, and Thomas was with them. Though the doors were locked, Jesus came and stood among them and said, peace be with you. Then he said to Thomas, put your finger here in my hand. See my hands? Reach your hand out and put it into my side. Stop doubting and believe. So in this verse, right, this is after Jesus' resurrection. This is after he was raised from the dead. This is after he came out of the tomb. And we see Jesus has scars. He could have completely healed those scars. He could have completely taken them away from his body, but he didn't. Why? Because he knew in that moment that Thomas needed to see his scars. Thomas needed to reach out and feel the hole in his side and the holes in his hands. Thomas needed that. And had Jesus completely healed himself from those things, from those ways, from those scars, do you think Thomas would have believed? I don't think so. Why? Because he needed to see the scars in order to believe. And so with us today, how many of us are hiding our scars? How many of us are hiding what we've been through, what our past is? How many of us today are hiding? Protecting. We don't want to get hurt again. We don't want things to go bad and get another scar. We don't want to show people our, air out our dirty laundry. We don't want to do that. Why? It's not the funnest thing to do. It's not the best thing to do. But it is the thing that brings the most healing. And with my past, I've been through highs and lows, ups and downs. But I'm able to reach people that I couldn't have reached before had it not been for my scars, had it not been for my past, had it not been for the things that I've been through. And if I were to hide that away, how many people would still be hurting and in pain because I'm refusing, neglecting to, in fact, give people what the Lord has given me. See, these scars are for a reason. The scars are for a reason. They are to help people. They are to benefit people. They are to show people that, hey, I'm not perfect. I've been through pain. I've been through hurt. I've been through everything too, but you can make it out on the other side through Jesus Christ. You can make it out on the other side. And I'm telling you, on this very day of which you're listening to this, stop hiding your scars, because there are people here that need to hear and see your scars. They need to embrace your scars, but you have to come to that realization that, hey, I have to embrace my scars before I can show other people that. Why? Because in that is healing, not just for people, but yourself too. See, if I continue to neglect my scars, I'm going to, in fact, fester, and I'm not going to deal with things, and I'm not going to heal from my situation. So step one is recognize that I have a scar. Recognize that I'm in pain. Recognize the truth behind it all. What is true in your situation? What is true with your scar? Come to the realization. Step number 2, be open and vulnerable to the people around you. Show them your scars. Show them your wounds. Because a wounded leader turns into a narcissistic leader. Why do I say that? When somebody is wounded, they tend, and I've gone through this, I've experienced this firsthand, and I can confess and say that this is the way that I was at one point in time because of circumstances that I went through. But a wounded leader tends to shut themselves off from other people. They tend to worry about their appearance, about their image. They tend to stop. How do I put this? They tend to stop hanging around with people because they don't want people to see their quote dirty laundry. We've all got dirty laundry. We've all got things that we're not specifically proud of. But the wounded leader turns into a narcissistic leader because, number one, image is everything. They don't want people to see. They don't want people to feel. They don't want people to experience what they've been through, right? They don't want people to see that. They want people to have this image of themselves of saying, "Hey, I am, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and my life is great, and all this other stuff." But in reality, there's a deep pain inside. There's a deep hurt inside. There's a longing inside, and the wounded leader, in turn, starts to wound other people because of what they've been through. And I think a lot of the people that we see out there, and by people I mean pastors, I think a lot of the pastors that we're seeing out there right now in this day, they are wounded leaders. They've been hurt. They've been cast aside. They've been how do I say this? They've been hurt so many times that they have built a shell around their heart to not let people in, to not let people see, to not let people experience the wounds in their hands and in their side. And that's dangerous, right? Why is that dangerous? Well, because we are not only blocking people from experiencing a healing and a breakthrough, but we are also we're also promoting more pain and more hurt because I now am shrouding myself. I'm recoiling from the people. I'm hiding my past. I'm hiding my mistakes. Why? Because I don't want to get hurt again. 99% of the wounded leaders and narcissistic leaders, because I believe they're all the same, 99% of them do what they do because they don't want to get hurt again. They don't want to feel the pain that they once felt. They don't want to experience and go through what they've been through in the past. I don't either. It's not fun. The seasons of my life where I've been through pain and hurt is not fun, and it's not supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be for healing other people. It's supposed to be going through other things so that way we can then talk to and witness to people, and that way they can see our scars and say, "Hey, I've been through it too, and I can help you through this." That is the goal of all of this. That's the goal of being a leader. And you may not be a pastor. You may be just a regular person, but God, you are a Christian. God's called you to be a leader. So lead. Whether it's in your job, in your workplace, if you're a teenager or you're in college and in your school or in your college, we have to learn how to lead through our wounds, through our pain, by showing people, I've been there too. I've bought the t-shirt. but I can help you through it. And when we have that mentality in our mind, when we have the mentality of breaking down those walls of our heart, breaking down those things that we've built up for protection, because we don't want to get hurt again, we can then show people, hey, here is my scars. Come touch, see, and feel my scars. Come feel my side, Thomas. Again, Jesus could have healed those wounds to where there was no scar, but he kept the scar for a reason. Why? So Thomas could see and experience the goodness of God in his life. So Thomas could come to believe. And I believe 100% of the time, the scars that we have and the situations that we face are for maybe even just one person to come to the salvation knowledge of Jesus Christ. And to me, that's worth it. It's worth the pain. It's worth the scars. And it may not be worth it in the moment. It may be the hardest thing that you've ever been through. It may be something that you just wish would end, and you're like, God, when is this going to end? But I'm reaching out to you today to let you know. And we've heard it. We've heard the cliche. God's going to turn that mess into a message. But it's true. He's going to turn that scar into something that could potentially bring healing. Because in the Bible, it's obviously in metaphor, right? Where it said that out of his side, right, it flowed blood and water, right? But it's showing us, right, the metaphor of, I believe, the river of God flowing from heaven down into the earth. I believe that when blood and water poured out of Jesus' side, it is the river of God in Revelation that flows down from heaven into the earth. Because in that wounding, in that moment of pain for Jesus, when that Roman centurion pierced his side, it then brought healing to the nations. Through his wound, through his pain, it brought healing to the world. It was the river of God, the river of life flowing from the throne of heaven down for you and I to enjoy, to experience salvation, to experience healing. And so let me ask you, what wounds do you have that could be the healing for somebody else? What wounds do you have that could pull somebody out of their depression and anxiety and show them that, hey, I've been through it too, and you're going to get through this, and God's going to turn this into something glorious? You're there. I've been there. I've bought the t-shirt. I've been through times of extreme pain, but through that extreme pain came extreme joy. I rejoice in my sufferings. That's what Paul said. I rejoice in my sufferings. And there's going to come a time where I'm not saying that you enjoy it, but you rejoice because you know, hey, this test is going to be a testimony. This pain is going to bring healing to somebody else. And because of that, I'm going to endure this. I'm going to keep my eyes on God, and I'm going to keep pressing forward. That's what it boils down to. We, as believers, go through times of pain, but we must show other people what we've been through. We must show them the wounds in our hands. We must show them the wounds in our heart. As leaders, as pastors, we must be open and vulnerable to our congregation, to the people around us, to show them, hey, we're not perfect. We're human beings too, and we've been through pain, but let me show you. Put your hands where my hands are. Feel my wounds. Put your hand in my side. Feel my scars, because I've been there. I bought the t-shirt. but you can make it through too. So today, wherever you're watching this, wherever you're, listening to this, just know that your wounds are for a reason. And what greater glory will come from the most extreme times of pain in your life. God bless.